Fraser Minton has been sent back down to the Marlies after a pretty solid 11-game run with the Leafs. This has left many fans curious as to what the Leafs may do now to fill the third-line center hole they now have.
Kawhi up top, looks at the clock, turns the corner for the win! Got it! A piece to the drive, deep left field, no doubt about it! Over center, here's Marner, and Matthews scores!
Welcome back to Everyday Toronto, your ultimate source for your Leafs, Raptors, and Jays news found all in one place. Before we get started, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more videos like this, breaking down news, rumors, and potential trade ideas for your favorite Toronto teams. After a week of underwhelming performances from the Toronto Maple Leafs, we still see them sitting at the top of the Atlantic Division. Over the next few weeks, they will be challenged to keep that spot while missing Anthony Stolarz, who has been on an absolute tear this year, leading NHL goalies with a .927 save percentage. Stolarz was forced to leave last Thursday's game versus the Ducks with reports of a lower body injury, and the following days head coach Craig Berube came out saying he'd be day-to-day, but a few days after that, Leafs GM Brad Treliving said Stolarz would be out 4 to 6 weeks after undergoing surgery to remove a loose body in his knee. Although this isn't the news Leafs fans wanted to hear, it's better to have this issue resolved sooner rather than later. It's now time for Joseph Woll to weather the storm like Stolarz did for him at the beginning of the year and get the Maple Leafs through their busiest month of the season. The other day, the Leafs decided to move Fraser Minton back down to the Marlies after an 11-game stint with the team where he tallied 4 points and had a 45.1 face-off percentage, showing a lot of promise and reason for Leaf fans to be excited to see the player he can become. This has left most fans curious as to what the Leafs may do next because he was thought to have a longer run and maybe even be the third-line center for the playoffs. So in today's video, we're going to be looking at a couple of familiar faces that the Leafs could be looking to reunite with and fill that third line center hole. The first of the two players we're going to be looking at is Ryan O'Reilly. Ryan O'Reilly is a former Stanley Cup champion and Conn Smythe winner with the 2019 St. Louis Blues and was traded from St. Louis to Toronto on February 18, 2023. O'Reilly's time in Toronto didn't last too long as he was on the last year of his contract when he was traded almost 2 years ago, but his impact was felt, helping them get past the first round for the first time in almost 2 decades. During his playoff run with the Leafs, O'Reilly tallied 9 points in 11 games and provided veteran leadership. In the offseason, O'Reilly left the Leafs to join the Nashville Predators, and although the reason was never really said by O'Reilly himself, there's speculation that he didn't like the media coverage and wasn't fond of the soft coaching that allowed players to do whatever they want, which ended up leading to his departure. With all that being said, if this was truly due to coaching issues, the Leafs have a new coach that O'Reilly is very familiar with as they spent 5 years together in St. Louis, and that coach is Craig Berube. During his first season and a bit with the Predators, O'Reilly hasn't shown any signs of slowing down. He's played first and second line center, and in 111 games with the team, he's tallied 33 goals and 53 assists for a total of 86 points, while also having a 54.3 face-off percentage. I've played around with some lines, and here's the one that I like the most. Here we see O'Reilly centering a line with Bobby McMann and Mitch Marner. This line would have an amazing balance of offensive defense and really give the Leafs the depth scoring they're looking for. I'm not sure how likely it would be for the Leafs to trade for O'Reilly again if the speculation on why he left is true, but I do know how great of a team they would be if he were to come back. Now on to the less likely reunion of the two as we look at Nazem Kadri. Nazem Kadri was drafted by the Leafs in the 2009 NHL draft with the 7th overall pick. Kadri went on to spend 10 seasons with the team where he had 161 goals and 196 assists for 357 points in 561 games. The Leafs traded Kadri to the Colorado Avalanche in 2019 for Tyson Barrie and Alex Kerfoot, after the Leafs realized they didn't have the budget for him to be a third-line center and fill in the rest of the holes in their lineup. Kadri went on to win a championship with the Avalanche in 2022 and later signed with the Calgary Flames in the offseason by former Flames GM and now current Leafs GM Brad Treliving. He's now 34 years old and he hasn't done much slowing down. This season he's on pace for 30 goals and 23 assists. The only problem with Kadri is his contract. He's under contract for the next 4 seasons at a cap hit of $7 million a season. So in order for this to work, his contract would have to be 50% retained in a trade, and I don't see the Flames doing that for anything less than a haul. If this were to somehow happen and Kadri got reunited with his hometown team, here's how I think he'd slot in. The lines would work best the exact same way Ryan O'Reilly lines would, with him in between Bobby McMann and Mitch Marner. This is probably every Leafs fan's preferred target of the two, but less likely as I stated earlier. But just having Kadri come home and finally get the job done would be a storybook ending. Let me know down below what you think. Should the Leafs try to make a reunion happen with Ryan O'Reilly or Nazem Kadri? And who would you prefer? That's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and go Leafs go.